Hi, I want to speak about counting our blessings, and one of the things that I've thought about this week before doing the video is how much sometimes we forget what's going on, makes us forget the blessings that God has given us and things that we ought to be grateful about. Someone might ask, how do I count my blessings? And I don't see anything good happening around. It's not a matter of things that are happening at this time, but things that have happened currently in your life. The first thing, you can start by thanking God just for waking up. You are able to wake up today. You are able to breathe. You are able just to open your eyes and see the goodness of God. Most people are now in hospitals with this pandemic that's going on. People are in ventilators. It's very expensive. Apart from just being expensive, they're not even available for most countries. So you find there's scarcity. But for you, you're able to breathe on your own. That's free. God has given you that. Your health is okay. Thank God you don't have the virus. You don't have the coronavirus. You're still able to stand up and do your own things. That is very important and something that you should look forward to and thank God for. Sometimes we just have to really sit down, meditate, look back at our lives and thank God. Or even sometimes you just need to look at the people around you. We have people who have other diseases. You know, at the moment people are really concentrating with the corona, the pandemic. But imagine yourself, you have a person who has maybe diabetes, cancer, people who need to go for dialysis that are now even scared of visiting the hospitals. But for you, all you have to worry about is the situation, and it has not reached you yet. Well, you might also say that you're not going to work at the moment. Yes, people have been affected, and nearly everyone has been, well, even the people who are going to work, there's a way they've been affected. Their clients are not buying as they used to buy, because maybe they do not have the income they used to have. But you can also look back and thank God and say, during the times I had my employment or my work, I was employed or I had my work, this is what I was able to do. I was able to take myself to school, maybe improve on my career. I was able to assist somebody else, a sibling, over college. I was able to assist my parents if they needed to be assisted, which in fact is an expectation. Whether they need to be assisted or not, it's an expectation that we give back to our parents in old age. That is in the Bible. It does not say that when they're able to take care of themselves, that we should neglect them. So you've been able to do that without missing. Thank God. Look back at that. Despite the things that are going on, some people have been able to finish the education. There are those people who've continued even during this time and they've graduated virtually. While there are others who do not even know if they're going to do their exams this year or not. They had already planned that by the end of this year they'll be done with exams. We have candidates who are expected to do exams, but schools are closed. They have no idea whether the schools are opening this year or the schools will be opening next year. You know, this is the place where you just need to thank God and say, at least this thing came. I've been able to graduate. I might not have been able to graduate the way I wanted, with family and friends celebrating with me, but at least I have my papers. I managed to do it virtually. Or maybe even you managed to graduate last year or a few months just before everything was closed down. These are things that we need to be grateful about. When we look at this pandemic, the thing came in around December in Wuhan, China. But in most places, it came in after that. From the beginning of the year, it became serious. In Kenya, it started in March. The first patient got infected in March. But we can say that it's just a week to end of the month, which means half of the year will have passed. Thank God that you've been able to survive this half of the year. You know, not everyone even woke up, leave alone being sick from the COVID-19 virus disease. People did not wake up. Others had accidents, others had their other sicknesses, but they did not wake up. You yourself, you're alive. As long as you're still alive and you're not dead, God has a plan for you. If you remember, in my previous video, I spoke about the battlefield of the mind. Most of these things, we just have to control them. Talk to yourself. Preach to yourself. Nobody is going to come and talk to you non-stop. But you yourself, you have your own body, you have your own thoughts throughout. You can be able to talk your thoughts in a certain direction. Being aware of what is happening. Being aware of where are my thoughts taking me. Are my thoughts taking me on the negative side or on the positive side? If your thoughts are taking you on the negative side, try and learn and just be sensitive and aware that this is what is happening. And I should stop it and try to focus on positive. Sometimes we are told in life you have to fake it until you make it. And this is the time of faking it, or if need be, just fake it until you make it. Preach to yourself. Tell yourself positive stuff. Sometimes you don't even have that faith. But just say it. Let it come out. Talk yourself into that faith. The Bible says that it is hard to please God. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. God expects us to have faith. Have faith. Even if you don't feel like it. It's obvious and it's automatic. Sometimes you do not feel like the feelings, just you can't force them. But you can force your mind to think a certain direction or to make certain decisions. Feel about the way you want to feel. Feel positive by force. Force it in yourself. Because imagine this, your life depends on this. What are you going to do? At least I'd like to say there are people who can also appreciate that they have a roof over their heads. There are people who live in their own houses and at this time they're not even paying rent. Thank God for that. You might not have your employment, but at least you have your own house. People have rents to pay. Others have been chased out of houses. They're living with friends and relatives. Thank God that for you, you've been able to come this far. Maybe you've even been able to pay your rent. You've been able to talk to your landlord. Maybe he's done something that makes it even better for you. He's given you some discount, or maybe he's told you not to pay for 1 or 2 months so that you can be able to plan yourself. But thank God. But even if the landlord hasn't done that for you, just appreciate and thank God that you've been able to come this far. It is very important that you see the positive side of stuff. Anytime we are told, as long as you see the positive side of life, you're going to be grateful, you're going to be positive, you're going to be optimistic that tomorrow will be better. This thing that is happening has affected the whole world. So don't look at it like you are the only one. You are the only one who is down. Maybe you've been doing some small businesses and you never knew that you could even do that business. But now, circumstances have forced you. We are told necessity is the mother of invention. You've decided, let me try this, and it has worked out. That's a good idea. It's keeping you. And it has been able to show you that life, you cannot depend on materialistic things. All this is vanity. The only thing that is permanent is God, and your faith in God can take you through. Other people have had issues with their spouses, their partners. People have separated. This is the time for you to know, is this person that I'm living with, they've survived with me. They've been there for me. I never knew they could stand by me. Thank God for that. Thank God, because we even have people who have split during this time because their partners could not provide any longer. For you, your partner has stuck with you. Or even that small business that they've been doing that you've been thinking is so irrelevant is now what is keeping you going, is now what is bringing the food on the table. And maybe it has opened your eyes to see, so even this small business that my wife was doing, it is also important. No? Thank God, appreciate. The Bible tells us to have faith. Faith can move mountains. And even the word of God says, try me. So there are some things in life we may not feel like it at the moment, but this is the time to prove our God. The people of the Egyptians, when they were saved from Egypt by Moses, they forgot about their prayers. They had been slaves for 430 years. They forgot about how they've been praying to get out of slavery. Immediately they crossed over and left Egypt. After God started giving them manna, they started complaining and forgot about their prayers. Think about how much you've prayed to God before and how much He's seen you through. And God had to remind them by bringing in plagues and such stuff. Maybe that is even what's happening right now. I'm not saying it's exactly what is happening, but it could be a way of making you think, like making you stop and just take a break and ask yourself, God has been faithful this far. So this thing that has come now, God has been able to remove me from this situation. I've survived so many things that I never knew I could. But now this situation that has come in right now is shaking me. Go back and thank God. Thank God for bringing you this far. Don't become ungrateful like the Egyptians. The same way God told the Egyptians, the enemies you see, you shall see no more. You shall not even remember them. You shall see the enemies no more. This is the same thing. This state and this issue is going to disappear. The same way we hear of the SARS virus or the other viruses that have been there in like 100 years ago. We don't even know them because they disappeared completely or they were controlled. This is the same thing that will happen. And like the Egyptians were told, the enemies you see, you shall see them no more, which meant the Egyptians that they were seeing were going to disappear and they were never going to see them anymore. The same thing God is telling us now. This coronavirus is going to end. So try and make sure that when it ends, you're around to celebrate the breakthrough. Don't let it get you down. By being positive, by thanking, by looking at the positive things. Thank God, appreciate, make use of this time positively. Just force it and things will work out. Thank you for listening to me. I hope this video was helpful. Kindly do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to share. And I appreciate. Also, kindly give me your comments because they're very helpful to me and it helps me to know where to improve and what I need to do. Thank you and see you again in a couple of days.